After months of discussion, the city of Hamilton is taking another swing at how they deal with nuisance properties. It was better received this time, but the city still needs to do some convincing. Local 12's Brad Underwood is in Hamilton with that story. Brad?
Well, good evening, Rob. You may remember back in February when council tried to pass an ordinance that had to do with nuisance fees, but also utility and inspection rates. More than 100 people showed up. They were angry. The PA system didn't work. So council tabled that decision. Well, since then, members of the administration, property owners, and heads of associations, they've been meeting. They came back tonight with a nuisance-specific ordinance, but still there are many people who are not happy with the wording. The city of Hamilton is targeting offenders. They're also going after landlords who allow tenants to conduct activity that creates an inconvenience for those around them. While many in the crowd agree with the spirit of the ordinance, they're not sold on the wording, calling it unfair to property owners.
I mean, I'm all for cleaning it up. I'm all for the spirit of it, but there's so many flaws and holes in this. And it's just like we got a problem with drugs and crime, but let's pass it on to someone else when it's an issue the city need to deal with.
Our biggest concerns center around the proposed regulations which violate the guarantee of due process under the U.S. Constitution, in addition to property owners being penalized for activities beyond the owner's reasonable ability to control.
So what qualifies as a nuisance? Well, it could be loud music, it could be parking issues, it could be burning things, and it could be criminal and drug activity. And once a property racks up 3 violations, the property owner is notified. That's another big objection. Owners want to know immediately after the first violation on their property, and not when it gets to 3 and the fines of $250 start rolling in.
I'd rather know today instead of waiting until 3 events happen at my property.
That was one of the biggest arguments against this that we heard tonight from people who own maybe 1 or 2 apartments or homes to those who are running very large complexes with hundreds of units. They just do not want to be held accountable or responsible or financially responsible for the things that their tenants do. And another thing to note with this ordinance, we're not just talking about rental properties here. It's also commercial properties, and even in residential areas, you could get a violation if you even own your own home, depending on what the police find if they're called out on a violation check. Reporting live tonight in Hamilton, Brad Underwood, Local 12 News. Rob?
Brad, thanks very much. The ordinance is now on to full council. It's not clear when it may be voted on.